Hi, this is Ron Davis, and I'm here on behalf of the National Burglar and Fire Alarm Association. And in an effort at full disclosure, let me tell you that the person I am about to interview is an associate of mine and has been for, probably the better part of 30 years. And she works with us in acquisition and mergers, but the reason that Katie Bally is sitting here now is that she and her husband were alarm dealers for how many years?
About 20 years.
20 years, and decided to exit the business a few years ago. Called on us to help them do it, but why don't you tell us, Katie, a little bit about what it was that caused you to want to sell your company? What was the factor that entered into it that made you want to do this?
To the final decision, our employees, we were babysitting our employees, and we never knew when they would show up, and we're just a service-oriented company. It was very, very difficult for us to have to deal with our customers and reschedule service calls and reschedule installations. And one of our service technicians worked 3 days a week. We never knew which 3 days because we never knew when he was going to show up. And it was just got to be so frustrating for us, and we finally decided to call you and ask you to help us to figure out an exit strategy.
Okay, and just watching you now, the intensity with which you were talking kind of showed the stress that you were under years ago when you made that decision. In other words, you decided that the time had come not to run a company anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, we had, like most alarm dealers, we'd had calls, letters from other buyers, along the way, and we never really felt comfortable in who it was. We didn't want to turn our customers over to just anybody or to a huge company. We wanted to maintain the level of service that we had been providing, and so that's why, another reason why we decided to talk to you, because we knew that you would help us to separate those companies that would not be worthy, we felt, of our customers and our employees.
Now, as you went through the process of selling, were there any surprises? Was there anything that came along that bothered you, or was the process relatively smooth?
Well, we thought, when we started the business, we knew from day one that we would eventually be going to sell it. So we had kept, we thought our contracts were all good, and we worked with an attorney, Alan Pepper, who had given us an excellent contract. And but what we had neglected to do was to go back to our first customers and re-sign them of the new contracts. So when we started dealing with ADS, with Ed Boniface, they went through every single one of our customer files, went through every single contract, and separated the ones that would have to be recontracted. So my husband spent the summer doing that, calling people. And as it turned out, it was only maybe, of our 2,200 customers, maybe about 200, and of those, maybe only 1 or 2 did not sign the contracts. So, and then ADS was very good about paying us for those contracts, and so it turned out to be. We thought we'd been doing all the right things, but you never know.
So you had a few surprises along the way, and at the end of the process, you got paid, and you put the money in the bank. And what happened next?
Well, my husband did have some seller's remorse. And I kept telling him, look at our checking account, look at our bank account, and help you get over that feeling. Because, well, then the second thing we did was we took a cruise, because we hadn't been able to get away for more than a week at a time. So we took a 2-week cruise, which was great.
If you had it to do all over again, would you still have sold the company?
Absolutely.
Now, if you were talking to somebody who was just getting started in the business, and they were asking you for what might be the most important bit of advice that you could give them, what would that be?
Well, of course, contracts, making sure your contracts are valid. We were tempted to do home entertainment. We were tempted to do all kinds of, fun things. But we decided to just stick with the straight security and do everything high-end. We wouldn't do anything low-end. And, it's really important for us to make sure that we had high-quality customers, so that when we were ready to sell, those customers would be worth more.
And in fact, as I recall, you received probably one of the highest multiples paid for an alarm company at that time.
Thanks to you.
No, no, it was thanks to the business that you had and the way in which you built it, and that's a good thing. Thank you, Katie. It's
You're
good
welcome.
having you here.
Thank you.